Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at one of Ainz Ooal's darkest hours, when he went to his knees. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, and say my thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And finally, this video contains some spoilers for the upcoming Holy Kingdom movie. It's nothing too severe, and no major plot will be revealed, but nonetheless, it is there. And with that said, let's take a look at the topic at hand. Ainz Ooal's undead body is in many ways a blessing in disguise for the human soul inhabiting it. Without its emotional regulation, Ainz might be struggling in many different ways. For example, he might have fallen for Albedo's allure, or any other woman in the New World for that matter, if he still was a human. And if he still could eat, then he might have overeaten and become obese, simply because until now he was not used to real organic food, but only to whatever could be harvested in the few protected areas in our own world that were under a dome and thus again protected from smog and radioactive particles. And finally, and this is perhaps something I need to highlight in a separate video, Ainz Ooal was, while not immune to pain itself, greatly resistant to its effects on his judgments and his behavior in battle. See, right at the beginning of Overlord, when Ainz Ooal had fought the Sunlight Scripture after observing its strength from far, far away, in their very own fight against Gazef Stronov and his warrior troop, he was actually hit and dealt damage by the so-called highest level of angels, Dominion Authority. Now, the amount of damage was neglectable in all likelihood, since the highest level angel was, while still very effective against the undead with its holy attacks, not on level 100 but a mere 8 tiers summoning. For comparison, the Doom Lord Ainz and Sheltir could call forth were a 10th tier summoning, and over the level of 70, again its actual strength varied depending on its ability to burn through its life force in exchange for power. But even the Doom Lord, going all out, would not pose a mortal danger to either Sheltir or Ainz Ooal. So a significantly weaker summoning was unable to do much to Ainz. However, its bright holy attack nonetheless inflicted pain upon Ainz. However, a split second later, the burning sensation of the holy energy desperately trying to cleanse Ainz Ooal's undead body and purge the negative energy from it, which is probably like a single drop of soap trying to cleanse an entire landfill, was downregulated by Ainz's emotional inertness to very bearable levels. Ainz was relieved, not so much because the pain faded to a mere background annoyance, but because this in and of itself meant that Ainz, who had lived his life as a sailorman, could, without prior battle experience, still bear the grievous wounds that would inevitably be inflicted upon him when battling a peer or near-peer enemy. And indeed, during his fight against Sheltir Bloodfallen, Ainz pretended to be grievously hurt by the holy attack Sheltir casted, while seemingly being able to simply shrug off Vermilion Nova, Sheltir's strongest fire-based attack, which in actuality was very lethal to him, since Ainz has swapped his 100% fire-resistant gear for a great amount of holy resistance that he receives by equipping his monk robe. And thanks to the emotional suppression, Ainz was able to mislead Sheltir into still thinking that he was still susceptible to holy damage, but again immune to fire attacks, while the opposite was true. Something that he would never been able to pull off if the emotional inertness had not lessened the pain to an extreme degree. And he later could also bear being impaled by Sheltir's lance and endure her oppressive dominance in melee engagements, something that Pandora's actor, as Ainz Ooal, who still could feel a lot of pain, despite assuming Ainz Ooal's form, struggled with, despite him being literally created as Ainz Ooal's personal NPC. But even with all of this said, there was still a gap in Ainz Ooal's mental armor. You see, while Ainz could feel pain and great joy, anger and embarrassment, only for a split second, before these emotions were down-regulated, lesser emotions that don't affect Ainz Ooal's immediate judgment, like a little disappointment or irritation, a warm memory, or an unpleasant smell, causing disgust, could still be felt normally. And one of these lesser emotions accumulating was still potent enough to bring Ainz Ooal to his knees. You see, Ainz Ooal's undead body could handle what the new world could throw at it rather well, but his spirit, his human mind, while being molded by the undead body to suit its needs, while being made quite resilient when it comes to the horrors present in the new world, to the blood and gore of the battle, to viewing whole villages getting slaughtered by the Sunlight Scripture disguised as the Knights of Baharut, it did nothing to alleviate the stress that comes with being an absolute ruler, responsible for many thousand lives in the Great Tomb of Nazareth and many million in the larger Sorcerer Kingdom. The daily stress of running his realm, worrying about the supposed players that have attacked Sheld here, while keeping up the facade of competence and wisdom, were hard enough. But in the Holy Kingdom, the stress mounted to sheer, unbearable levels. Ainz knew that Demiurge had worked on his plans in the Holy Kingdom for months and years on end, and how enthusiastic he had been about all of this. Ainz knew from his old life how horrible it was when a superior would actually spoil a until then very successful project with a mere thoughtless act or gesture, or simply lacked the experience to even understand what was going on and thus misbehaved. The sheer embarrassment and loss of face Ainz would inevitably face once he hurt and disappoints Demiurge and all of the other members of Nazareth were simply too much. You see, Ainz was supposed to find allies, like he did found Gondo Firebeard in the Dwarf Kingdom, in the Holy Kingdom as well. Some people he could use to unanchor the social order of a nation by using mortal pawns from within it to do so, turning what would have been a loyal member of its society into some sort of living Trojan horse. Due to his immense skills in deception, manipulation, politics, and strategy. However, in reality, Ainz Ooal possessed none of those, and he was confronted with an impossible situation. The entirety of the Holy Kingdom despised the undead, to an extraordinary degree even for the New World. And no matter how much Ainz tried to impress and work Remedios into liking, or at the very least accepting him, no matter how much he did for the Holy Kingdom from Remedios' perspective, she could only see the undead with its cruel plans and callous strategy in the Overlord. And this fanaticism, only in a more pleasant, disguised way, was present in the general population and to a far greater degree within its paladin order, representing and fighting for the faith that warns against the very undead that Ainz Ooal currently is. And even the squire, a girl by the name of Nea Baraya, whom Ainz tried to be kind to, glared at him with vicious, dangerous eyes at every opportunity. And it was this dread of losing face, of being the leader who disappoints his entire hard-working fellowship, the children of his dear friends he cares so much for, coupled with the fact that he hadn't time to rest for months, that finally brought him to his knees. Not because of any physical attack, but because of his current mental state, deprived of even a short amount of relaxation for months. Finally reached its breaking point. In many ways, this was one of Ainz Ooal's darkest hours, where mental fatigue took such a toll on him that he could not bear it any longer. And in this very compromised position, he heard a knock on the door, had to get up, and admit his utter failure to his subordinate. And what happens afterwards, which orders Ainz was forced to give in his darkest hour, will be shown in the Holy Kingdom movie, or explained in another video on this channel. But for today, that's pretty much it. And now it's your turn. What do you think about Ainz Ooal's darkest hour and his mental collapse, and the limits of his emotional damper? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ada, ASK, Bad Guy Yee, Bad Burrito 316, Bisa, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Dragonlord Placidus Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Phil Ralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Hoster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vashorkai, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.